Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday Night Live. And we're really excited about our topic today. And we're going to be talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And you'd be amazed at uh, how prevalent this is within our society, within individuals. But do we have to keep it that way? No. There is a way in which we could reverse it and we can heal that liver and it could work well for us for a very long time. Let us begin with a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day and we thank you for the information that you provided as we are about to discuss. We pray that all those who listen, that it would be beneficial to them, both for prevention as well as treatment and even for recovery. And full recovery we're looking for because you have provided a way. Be with us now in our discussion. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. So our topic, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, reversing fatty liver naturally. And that's what we're looking for to reverse this condition. So I just want to give you a little heads up. I am talking to you from Pure Wellness Lifestyle Center. And, we recently concluded one of our residential programs. And what was amazing, as always, the Lord blessed and individuals were able to leave with some great results. And they were able to look back, see where they were, and where they are now. Of course, again, we did have individuals reducing their cholesterol level. One person was able to reduce her cholesterol level by 48 points, bringing it down within range. Of course, it was over range, like about 235, and that came down by 48 points, putting her within the range limit, and just such a positive, great result to encourage her to keep on this path and see that come down even lower. Not only was it total cholesterol, but also for triglycerides, the LDL, everything were now normalized. And that was after 16 days of intervention, from when we tested at the beginning and tested towards the end. We had another one with platelets, high platelet levels. And, sometimes you could go do some blood work and you see some numbers there and you're wondering, well, how will that be corrected? So platelet level was really high, out of range, of course, putting the individual at risk for getting blood clots. That could show up in the brain. You're likely, if you have a blood clot, that you will be at risk for a stroke, a heart attack, or some respiratory issue if it's in the lungs. And so when I saw that, it's like go to work immediately. And what did we do? Of course, the person participated in everything that we do at the center, but also, just a second. Yeah, but also the individual got the walks every day, made sure to be drinking water, and as we would advise, on a total plant diet, and at the same time using cayenne. Cayenne pepper can be used medicinally. Yep, so using cayenne pepper capsules, not even the powder because she couldn't tolerate the powders. So using cayenne capsules as well as a product called Natocera. So that's a combination capsule of nattokinase and serrapeptase. And we were able to use that with her. And every day is just one of those capsules of the natto as well as the cayenne for breakfast and for lunch with the cayenne. Just one. And that after 16 days of intervention was able to bring the platelets down within range by 80 points, 80. And that was like super amazing just within 16 days. And this is something that individuals might hold on to for quite a long while if they made no change to their diet. And here we were also using some natural agents, simple things to help with the situation. So the natto tends to break down clots if you have that anywhere in the body, and any kind of fibrin or fibrous tissue. It can help with that breaking down as well. So the combination there of those two items, we believe that really brought the numbers down and put the person in such a comfortable space. Of course, now continuing to lead a healthier diet and lifestyle, but at least, she was able to get the good results to go back home with. We did start our Diabetes Undone program, and it was amazing. We did not do all of the sessions within the residential program, so we will be connecting with folks on a weekly basis for that. But it also brought tremendous results with normalizing or reducing, because the time was short, to reduce the high glucose levels for individuals. So they were able to see some shifts, those who were higher fasting glucose levels. But after 1 week, you were seeing a reduction in the blood pressure as well as the blood sugars. And so they were always recording. And by the second week into the program, getting on to the third week, you saw even better results. So those who stayed longer for the 18 days as opposed to the 11, the 18-day people, they saw their results in a more remarkable way as compared to those who stopped at 11 days. They did see some improvement as well. But, those who were with us longer, we were able to share that experience with them. Of course, they're back to their homes now, and as we, check up, they're all doing well, and they're keeping on the healthy path. So I just want to give God thanks for, such wonderful individuals to work with, and the great work He's done in their lives, and so we are happy for them. Okay, so let's take a look at fatty liver disease and see where we're at. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we're looking at non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And basically, it is understanding. We want to understand the risk, the causes, prevention, and what are some of the natural remedies. But when we think about the liver, what exactly is the liver? We're talking about a part of the body that better be there. It is hugely essential. It is, in fact, the body's largest internal organ, located in the upper right abdomen. So you put your hand upper right abdomen, and it performs over 500 vital functions. Okay, so if you didn't know that, over 500 vital functions, including filtering toxins, producing bile for fat, digestion, It's part of your digestive system. Your liver has a work to do with digesting your food, metabolizing nutrients. When we eat, how does the body get the nutrients it needs? And so the liver supports that. And storing substances like glucose from our food. The liver stores the glucose in the form of glycogen, and that will be released into the system when individuals eat their food. It's released later on to keep them up and strong. It is a major metabolic organ, essential for digestion, detoxification, and overall metabolism, acting as the body's primary factory for processing what we eat and what we drink, what we consume, what we put into our bodies, what we put on our bodies, anything that we might have been exposed to, toxins, environment. The liver is helpful for that. All right, so someone is saying not hearing. If you are hearing me, then please indicate in the chat. If you're hearing me loud and clear, please indicate you're hearing. All right. Okay, so Sister Jam, you may need to log out and come back in. So let's look at some facts for the liver. Thank you, everyone. So when we're looking at the liver, it sits under the diaphragm in the upper right of the abdomen, usually protected by the lower right rib cage. So if you take your hand, you put it in the upper right, like here, and you see how it fits. Your hand can be across. It's sort of like that. If you look at the picture, it spans across. So the larger part of that liver is more on the right side. Okay, it's important when you know where your liver is, and then you feel for your diaphragm. You squeeze in here and feel for your diaphragm, that bone rib cage structure, and it's right inside of there. So if you feel a pain, could it be the liver that's paining you? And because it spans across, more to the left area as well, you note that your liver could be anywhere across, okay, on this side. Now, it is the largest solid organ in the body. It weighs about 1.4 kg or 3.1 pounds. So if you wanted to know what 3.1, maybe I think this book is heavier than 3.3 pounds in an adult. Okay, so it accounts for some of the weight on your scale. And it is divided into two main lobes, as you see here, one lobe, two lobe. It spans across from right to left, and it is further divided into smaller units called lobules. And so they have different sections of the liver in different parts. And I tell you, the liver is remarkable. It is the only organ that can regenerate. So if there was anything wrong with the liver and they needed for some reason to cut off even 75% of it, this little piece can stay there, and like a little shoot will grow and grow over time and restore itself. Now, there are several functions of the liver, so let's have a look. One of the main functions is detoxification, so we'd come to that, but it also produces cholesterol. Did you know that? It also produces cholesterol, and it is a when you produce cholesterol, we need to produce cholesterol by the liver for several functions. Part of it is for digestion, because that cholesterol is going to be used to make bile, and bile will be responsible for metabolizing or breaking down fats in our in our digestion, fats that you have eaten. So it's a precursor to sex hormones and vitamin D. This cholesterol also does other work. So for your sex hormones, like your estrogen, your progesterone, testosterone, the liver helps there, and it's responsible for helping us to make vitamin D. It also stores the micronutrients such as copper, zinc, magnesium, iron, vitamins such as vitamin A, D, E, and K, the fat-soluble vitamins, and B12. Could we be deficient of these things because our liver is not functioning properly? Maybe. And then the liver helps with restoring and having that glucose balance, blood sugar balance. It stores glycogen. When that is released into your bloodstream, at some point in time, you would have eaten, glucose comes in, the liver stores that glucose in the form of glycogen. Later in the day, you have eaten so many hours ago, but your energy begins to dip. Your liver will say, hi, I have some glucose for you. Put that back into the bloodstream, and it keeps you up feeling strong and alert, and you don't fall. You know, you ever felt like really tired and then you got a burst of energy? That can very well be your liver working for you at that time. Now, it helps in the production of bile, which is needed for digestion and breaking down fats from our food intake. Bile also helps with our GI tract and antimicrobial function. And so bile has a really lovely role to play for keeping that GI tract in good order. Bile also will be disposed of in our stool and help to give that stool a color that's healthier, that's not white, chalky, yellow looking. Then the protein synthesis, the liver helps with blood clotting. So if you have high levels of blood clotting going on, it's like, take a look at the liver. What's going on there? Is it overperforming or on underperforming? Then we have cholesterol transport with the lipoproteins. You also see the liver having and supporting the immune function and oncotic pressure, which is albumin, and copper bioavailability. We need our liver for that. It supports the immune system. It contains viruses and pathogens. So the liver will help to fight those that comes to us. It also helps with maintenance of the hepatic liver cells and portal vein immune system. When it comes to metabolism, it aids in the conversion of T4 to T3, supporting the thyroid gland. If you do have thyroid issues, then not just look at the liver and the thyroid only, but also let's take a look at the liver and see how healthy the liver is and whether it needs to be detoxified. It helps in detoxifying fat in the system. And what is it going to detoxify? Alcohol, drugs, medication that we will take, that passes through the liver, and the liver breaks it down into a less harmful substance to the body. Because some of these drugs are quite toxic. They are potent. And so the liver sees that first and breaks it down so that it would be in a form that the body can tolerate. And the pharmaceutical industry knows that, how the body works. And so what they give to you, they know you're going to get less of it. So they put enough, in the dosage. Then fatty acids, it detoxifies steroid hormones and ammonia, urea, environmental toxins, and allergens that might be pre-exposed to the body. So liver congestion can also happen where the liver tends to become sluggish. It's not working as it should. It's overburdened. And what can cause this? And if your liver is congested, then we need to clean it up. And we'd see that in our remedies. We will look at excess environmental toxins, solvents, industrial solvents, lubricants, plastics, exposures to BPA, plasticizers or phthalates, uh, preservatives, pesticides, phytoestrogens, volatile compounds, organic compounds, VOCs, and heavy metals such as aluminum, arsenic, cardamom, lead, mercury. If we're exposed to any of these things, know that your liver is going to be burdened. And so it's important again for us to work on decongesting the liver, detoxifying the liver, cleaning it up, and as we would show you how to support that. If you're one where you're drinking alcohol or alcohol beverages, the beers and the different forms of alcohol, even if it's a small percentage, let's not be comfortable in this small, low percentage of alcohol in drinks. No. Let's keep everything clean and clear. Drug, medication, overuse of medication, especially antibiotics, can cause a congested liver. Then air and water pollution, excess endogenous toxicity from the GI dysbiosis. So from leaky gut, we discussed that some weeks ago, where you have a lot of toxins coming out from the gut now leaked out into the bloodstream. The liver has to deal with that. And the excess fat in the system, lipid peroxidation. So when individuals consume items of high fat substances, that's going to put a burden on the liver. Now, what about if you were overweight and you were losing weight? You have the breakdown of fat molecules in your bloodstream, and your liver has to deal with that as well. I've also seen where some individuals may take some drink, some potion, some capsule, some injection in order to lose a massive amount of weight in a short space of time. And that burdens the liver and can put the person into liver failure. That is real and that happens. So if there are times when you want to lose the weight, but you can't lose it too fast. So for example, I had someone here who lost 13 pounds in 13 days. And I was like, oh no, you need to pay attention to making sure you're having your milk thistle and your dandelion to support that liver. Of course, with that now, the liver had to contend with it, and there was a lot of fat moving around in the bloodstream and so forth. And we did see the impact of it. So we want to lose weight, yes, but in a healthful way. As long as you're doing it in a healthful way, it would soon even off itself, as opposed to taking medication. And at some point, I'm going to talk to you about some medications that are used for weight loss, like Ozempic and others, and why we would not recommend those. But the liver has to interface with those. So iron overload and oxidative stress by our cells or cellular structure. So if you're a highly stressed environment, not just stressed emotionally or mentally, but just pressure on the body with overwork and all of those things can put an impact on the liver. So what are some of the signs and symptoms of liver dysfunction or congestion? Chemical sensitivity, easily intoxicated by alcohol, eczema. So your liver is so congested, and you find that you have inflammatory issues even showing up on your skin externally. Eczemas, rashes, acne, easy bruising. Pay attention to some of these things because they can be quite common, issues. And it could be caused by other things as well, but always take a look at the liver. And easy bruising, swelling, dark circles under the eye, seasonal allergies, sinus issues. That is hugely common for a number of individuals. Asthma, hemorrhoids, blood sugar imbalance, brain fog, digestive issues, fatigue, dark urine, symptoms of hormonal imbalance. These are some of the signs and symptoms of liver congestion, indicating to us that we need a liver cleanse. So our big topic, we're looking at non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is another disease that can impact the liver and the health of the liver. And if that is not addressed, it can be worsened, a worsened state for the liver. So the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, so fatty liver disease can come about because of the consumption of alcohol. But there are many who are not drinking alcohol, and yet they are suffering from fatty liver. So it's a NAFLD. And so it's a congestion in which the fat builds up in your liver. This means that you have an excess of fat buildup in the liver cells that is not caused by alcohol, and a non-alcoholic fatty liver and non-alcoholic uh, steatohepatitis or NASH. Yeah, so it is steatohepatitis and on Nash's types of NAFLD. So the NAFLD has a name to you, and hear it shortly. And if you have NASH, you have inflammation, and you also have liver damage going along with that fat in your liver. So it's a fat liver, but it's a state where it's begun to cause damage to the liver organ itself, the liver cells. And NAFLD, the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is common worldwide, and it's linked to metabolic syndrome. And it can progress to NASH, cirrhosis, and liver cancer. And this is important that we don't take it for granted, but note that it can progress to some serious liver conditions. So let me just change screen right here and share a little clip with you. Wonderful. So I hope that sort of gave you a little view on what we're talking about. Quite simple, very simple and easy to follow. Okay, so we mentioned that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease can also come about because of metabolic syndrome. Let's take a look at this and see where this is going in the world. So metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that can occur together. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. So when you have these conditions going on together, then it's an indicator that you have some metabolic syndrome. It is not a single disease, but a group of risk factors that signal the body's metabolism is out of balance. So what's the criteria for metabolic syndrome? If the person is diagnosed with 3 or more of the following are present, then you can very well look at yourself as having some form of metabolic syndrome. Okay, so metabolic syndrome is a combination. You need to have a few of these, three or more of these conditions. So is it that you have abdominal obesity, a large waistline, like an apple-shaped body? Men, waist circumference is 40 inches and above. Women, where the waist circumference is 35 inches and above. So you gotta get a measuring tape and measure your waistline. What about high blood pressure? If your blood pressure is over 130 over 85 milligrams, or on medication for high blood pressure, then you have one down. What about high blood sugar? Fasting glucose levels being above 100, and often a sign of insulin resistance or prediabetes. That's another. What about high triglycerides? If your triglyceride level is above 150, we want that to be closer to 100. And then we have a low HDL, which is quote unquote what you might term to be the good cholesterol. We want that to be closer to 50 for women, or less than 50 in our women, and for men, less than 40. Again, look at your range panel for your blood test and see where you fall, because certain labs will have their own ranges, and so you always have to look. But note, it's usually hovering around 50 for women, 40 for men. So if you have three or more of these conditions going on, then it could very well be that you are in a state of metabolic syndrome. And why are we concerned about that? Is because metabolically dysfunctional associated steatotic liver disease, or MASLD, is the new NAFLD, because they're recognizing that individuals are having this soup of conditions, and it's also affecting their liver. So it's what we're told is that the metabolically dysfunction associated steatotic liver disease comes about because of a buildup of extra fat in the liver cells that is not caused by alcohol, and it had been previously called NAFLD. So where we would have been so familiar with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, it's not just looking at non-alcoholic and looking at alcohol as a main cause, and if you're not using alcohol, you have it still. It's also considering that our metabolism and these different conditions predisposes us to getting fatty liver, all right? And there we need to be concerned. So don't just say, well, I have high blood pressure, okay. But then you're getting older and you're putting on the excess weight around the abdominal area. All right, and then what? Diabetes, glucose levels high? Oh, it's too much. Then next thing you got to do is to watch that liver. So the more advanced form of MASLD is MASH, the metabolic dysfunction associated steatohepatitis, or MASH, also previously known as Nash. And so it causes the liver to swell and to become enlarged. So imagine someone already having metabolic syndrome and then they have fatty liver. If that goes untreated or unreversed and you don't make any changes, what did we just see? The diet and the lifestyle can do this change that we need. So if we do nothing, it can progress to an enlarged liver, and that can lead to, liver damage, cirrhosis of the liver, where it becomes so hard and even liver cancer. So about 100 million people, that's about 25% of the US population, are estimated to have maslin. And maslin is the most common form of liver disease, even in children. We saw it 1 in 10. And it's more than doubled over the past 20 years. Question to you, what could be causing the children to have this condition? It used to be for the adult population, but now it's showing up more in children. Can anyone say, what do you think is contributing even to our children getting this condition?
Fast
The
food
diet.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The diet, the fatty foods, you saw the picture with the soft drinks and the um, burger, bagels, and the what do they call that? That those things. Yeah. So all of those sugar foods and so forth.
Donut,
Yeah.
a
Donut.
donut.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
French
Kind of
fries.
articulation. And the what?
French fries.
The French fries. Yeah. And more children are having these things as opposed to when you were a child. You got that as a special treat around birthday time or end of school term or for New Year or Christmas time. But now when they can have these things every single day, and in some school populations, it's even served up for the cafeteria meal. It's a big problem. And we see our children are obese, they're getting diabetes, they're also getting the metabolic syndrome. And it's just like an adult. So we gotta watch that. And maybe a child around you already have these issues. We gotta protect our children and get them to make the changes too. All right, so let's go. I have a nice little video again to show here to you. So let's pull up our all right, so wonderful. Again, that has given us another really good view of this condition, making it a bit more clear for us. There we go. Right, and so the risk factors by now, I'm sure that you would have been hearing it repeatedly. Amazingly, pregnancy can predispose one for getting these MASL or NAFLD, where you see even with pregnancy, you have hormonal changes and increased estrogen production. And the liver has to produce cholesterol to support the production of that hormone. That can sort of give us a predisposition, very small percentage, but nonetheless can happen. Obesity and overweight. So apart from the first one, the others are more concerning to a wider population of individuals. Insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol and high triglyceride levels, a sedentary lifestyle without having that exercise, and an unhealthy diet. You're always seeing diet coming up as one of those causative factors. So sugar, refined carbs, processed food, watch what we are putting on that plate. Because many would say, well, I'm not even eating animal foods, I'm plant-based, but are we truly getting our fiber in our foods and eating whole foods as opposed to processed foods? So we don't want to have the processed, the sugar, watch the carb, all the bread and pastry items that would have hidden fats in them. So let's look at that and make sure we do our checks regularly that we don't have any of our metabolic syndrome type conditions. the symptoms of MASL, which is the new term for NAFLD, and MASH, new term for NASH, often no symptoms in the early stages. You might experience fatigue, a pain or discomfort where? In the upper right abdomen, an enlarged liver detected by tests. And that time it's really going upward into an advanced stage. What are the complications? Liver inflammation and fibrosis. Then NASH is non-alcoholic and non-alcoholic hepatitis and the MASH, metabolic dysfunction associated with stenohepatitis. You also have cirrhosis of the liver, which is scarring of the liver cells and tissue. And you have liver cancer as a real risk. And cardiovascular disease, all these can come about if we don't attend to our MASL condition. So it's important for us not just to know that we have fatty liver, but for us to do something about it in a positive way to help to treat, to help to reverse that. So the MASL heart health connection, how is it connected to cardiovascular disease? Death from cardiovascular disease is more common than liver complications among people with fatty liver. So you have the fatty liver, but that doesn't kill you. It's the heart cardiovascular disease that does. Even if the fatty liver disease progresses to significant fibrosis or scarring of the liver, that is cirrhosis or nearly cirrhosis, which is hardening of those liver cells, and the more of them, the more hard and dysfunction of the liver you will experience. The risk of cardiovascular disease remains higher than the risk of liver complications. So we can see too that by having the blood pressures, high blood pressure issues, and so forth, that not only causes damage to the liver, but can also cause damage to the cardiovascular system. And that is of greater priority and significance when it comes to our lives. Now, how is it diagnosed? You would have heard, you may have had a medical history and even a physical examination by looking at some of the signs and symptoms of liver congestion or dysfunction. Then blood test. If you have an elevated ALT and AST value, then that might, and it continues to be elevated despite efforts to correct, then you find that might be a prompt to cause for further testing. You will be then asked to do some imaging, such as an ultrasound. Depending on that test result will put you further testing regime to maybe an MRI or a CT scan, just to understand clearly what's going on with the state of the liver. So if you did an ultrasound and you see some cellular damage there to the liver cells, then it's gonna prompt for further testing and investigation. Next, once the MRI, CT scan, that comes back positive, we got something going on here. They're gonna take a biopsy of the liver and test it to see what it is. If it's cirrhosis, if it's hardened, if it's liver cancer. And there is more of the progressive stage. So could it be prevented? Yes. Could it be treated? Yes. Could it be reversed? Yes. And so maintaining a healthy weight, this is what you do. This is a change that you would need to make in order to reverse the fatty liver. Clear? So you got fatty liver, whatever phase it might be, you need to address it. And so let's maintain weight loss where weight need to be lost. work on that to maintain a healthy weight. Regular physical activity, at least 150 minutes per week, which is just 30 minutes a day. Could you do that? At least 30 minutes a day. And eating a healthy, balanced, plant-based diet. Our food selection is important. If you already have fatty liver disease, then why eat fried foods? Why cook your food with oil or coconut milk or using and consuming an excessive amount of nuts? So you're blending nuts to make sauces and you're having handful of nuts in your food that's with a food intake that's more than a handful, or you're snacking on nuts. I don't like to hear people snacking on nuts because it's adding fat, more fat to your intake. So like we want to go plant-based, but we also want to watch the fat intake. Avoid refined sugars and saturated fat. Understand that sugar can be converted to fat, and too much of that will be stored in the cells of the liver and make them fatty. Okay, so how do we get rid of the fatty liver? Stop using sugar. And these sweeteners, not even the honey, not even agave, not even maple syrup. Stop that, because you want to reverse saturated fats. You're looking at your olive oil, your coconut oil, you're looking at your animal fats, butter and cheese and all of those. Stay hydrated. It's important for us to drink adequate and lots of water. Make sure your urine is pale yellow to clear. Drink water. And abstain from alcohol, beer, alcoholic beverages, and even the non-alcoholic beverages may have a small percentage of alcohol in it. We want to abstain from that as well. In addition, sometimes those things are sweet, sugary, and we want to stay away from that. What about soft drinks? You know, sweet drinks, if you would call it that, or sodas, all of those can contribute to excess fat in the blood, which will be converted to excess glucose, which will be converted to fats and can contribute to that fatty liver. The cells will store it. And so even smoking, cigarettes, vaping, and so forth, that's quite toxic, and we need to stay away from those, make the change. See a liver specialist and a gastroenterologist or hepatologist to monitor and advise about your particular liver health situation, to understand exactly what's going on by the further testing and then address it. If you are overweight or obese, then speak to your doctor or your dietitian to learn about how to plan healthy meals and to help you to lose that weight. If you have high cholesterol or high triglyceride levels, consult your doctor about ways to lower those numbers and reduce your risk for fatty liver disease. So we don't need to wait until you hear that you have fatty liver disease. Why not be proactive? We're taking note about what are the changes to reverse, and today make those changes to avoid your liver going under such pressures. If you have diabetes, it's important to work along with someone, your healthcare provider, or even us, to help you to reduce your glucose levels and to help you to get those numbers within range. You don't want to be remaining a diabetic for all of your life. It is reversible. And medication, if you have to take medication, then take only those that you need to take. There are times when individuals don't feel well, you got a headache, you run for a pill. Do you really need to do that? What is causing the headache? And many times it's dehydration, or it might be constipation. Let's get to the root cause of the headache. And it might be an allergic reaction to some food that you have ingested. So identify the cause, and therefore you don't have to have headaches to take that pill. So don't rush into taking medication unnecessarily. If you do need, then you take it, but if not, leave it alone. And let's look at nutrition for our liver health. You're looking to eat a total plant diet. So if you have fatty liver disease, this is what you need to do. If you have any of the metabolic syndrome conditions, high blood pressure, heart disease, high glucose levels, overweight, obesity, and so forth, let us go on a whole food plant-based diet of fruits, of vegetables, your legumes, your whole grains. Every week we talk about these are the foods that God designed for us to eat that would keep us in good health. Healthy fats such as flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, olives, avocado, our high fiber diet in your vegetables, in your fruits. You want to see that fiber on your plate every single meal. Look for the fiber on that plate. Look for the healthy protein in your legumes, your peas, your beans. So your leafy greens, particularly foods of the cruciferous family, they are helpful in detoxifying that liver and reversing your fatty liver disease. So congested liver, fatty liver, go for the cabbage, go for the broccoli, the cauliflower, the Brussels sprouts, the kale, and eat up those things almost every day. Cook them. You must cook them, and then we can eat. Dandelion, also great, milk thistle. So looking at the natural remedies, the supplements, we got milk thistle. Make a tea of milk thistle with dandelion. Add some turmeric to that. And you'll have a nice tea that you can drink every day, 4 cups every day. And so if you had the milk thistle in loose cut leaves, it's 1 teaspoon per cup. Similarly, you add 1 teaspoon of dandelion and half a teaspoon of the turmeric powder. You put that in 4 cups of, well, per cup. So if you did a tablespoon of milk thistle, a tablespoon of dandelion, and a teaspoon of the turmeric powder to 4 cups of water, and you brought that to a boiling point, water to a boiling point. You add those herbal agents in there, and then you allow it to simmer for at least 15 minutes. Cover it, let it cool, and when it's cool, you can drink. Start drinking in between meal times, 2 hours after you finish eat breakfast, and then you start to drink your tea. And you should drink most of it before your lunchtime. Any leftover, it will be 2 hours after you've eaten your lunch meal. So when we drink that, it's going to help to clean up that liver, get rid of, break down the fat deposits. Milk thistle is like a liver tonic. You see, it talks about liver protection and restoration of those fatty cells in the liver. Omega-3 fatty acids can help to reduce triglycerides in the blood, that fat deposits in the blood, and using flaxseed, chia seed in our food can help there. And vitamin E, and it's a nice antioxidant support, and a probiotic can help with your gut liver axis support, and that would work well. You can also do a hydrotherapy treatment, which is a warm compress over the liver area. And you can, some folks will like rub some castor oil over that area, and then take a hot water bottle and you hold it over, or you can have fabric that's dipped in hot water and you wring that out dry, no dripping water. And you can put that over a towel and rest it over you to apply some heat. That helps with sort of soothing and healing. Contrast showers for detox pathways to open up your skin, your pores, to help If you have your other detoxification pathways open up, like your bowels, your skin, you're perspiring a lot to get rid of toxins, then that helps to relieve the burden on the liver to detoxify most of what's coming to you. Of course, be careful with what you put on your skin as not to burden the need for breaking down items. Watch your environment that you're in, no toxic polluted area to keep adding more toxins to your system. Deep breathing, but in fresh air, can be quite helpful. Remember, it's right under the diaphragm. So your deep breathing helps to put some compression and release and get that liver stimulated. Rest and trust in God's healing power. So these are some of the takeaways. And just to wrap up, I'd show you Shawana's story, our last little video clip here. And Shawana was able to get her results, and let's see how she felt about that. Wonderful. So there you got it, where in that story, Shawana was able to gain the victory and working on her situation. And, it can be helpful to you too, to make similar change. And wonderful. So with that, as we wrap up here, the MASLID is and NAFLD is preventable, reversible in many cases. We don't want it to progress upward. We want it to regress, and early lifestyle interventions are very much important. And we need to have plant-based nutrition, exercise, and natural remedy support for recovery. And trusting in God as we do his part, he's going to bring about the healing. Our bodies are designed to repair and to heal. What is our recipe for this week? Should we have something that would be supportive to the liver? Yeah. So beets are one of the best foods to support liver detoxification. And when paired up with carrots and you put a little squeezed lemon juice on that, and it can become a powerhouse of nutrients. All we did here was simply steam and eat. So you steam it and then you can grate it. You have your green leafy. This one here is jicama, and then you have your beans and your carbohydrate piece. This would have been something I showed you some time ago, the scallop potatoes. But you can simply do some brown rice. But try and have a lot of beets. Beets along with the cruciferous family of foods. Try and have that almost every day as you work towards reversing your fatty liver, feeding the body with those items that would help to support a detoxification and decongestion of your liver and clean it all up. This is like fiber that goes in and scrubs it up and to break up the fat in those cells, melt them away and make your cell healthy again. It is possible to reverse that fatty liver, and addressing it as soon as you know is the best time. Don't wait for it to progress. Scripture of the week. Oh, I got this. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. And there we have come to an end and open the floor for any questions, any comments, and we'd be happy to share with you. Okay, so I see a question in the chat. Does charcoal help relieve the liver? Does charcoal help to relieve the liver? Charcoal can help to charcoal helps with the toxic burden. Yeah, from that perspective, um, as the toxins come to the body, if we were to ingest, it helps to break it down and absorb it, take that out through your colon, and it can help to relieve the burden on your liver. So that's a great input, because if you were working with pesticides, I always love to talk about painting, just painting your walls. The fumes from that can be toxic. And so if you did that, then you come in the evening time and drink some charcoal water, just about a teaspoon to a glass of water, mix that, drink it. Yeah, it's going to help, and make sure you have great bowel movement so that you're sending that out through your poop and not to have it recirculated in the bloodstream. If you're constipated, imagine the toxins can be recirculated back into the bloodstream, hit the liver again. The liver is going to say, but I thought I dealt with this already. So let's be kind to our body, make sure it's functioning well. Okay.
Okay,
So,
Dr. Nash, I have a question, please.
yes, go ahead.
May I? Okay. What 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 can you do for elevated enzymes in the liver?
The same, the same thing, with in terms of the exercise, good sleep, and the diet, a total plant-based diet, and using the milk thistle. You definitely need to come in with that herbal agent. And I prefer the tea as opposed to the capsules, because tea gets in, it's liquid, it gets into the bloodstream, and it can just bathe over that liver and help the liver to get what it needs, to clean up. And when we think about these teas, think about, how if you had to clean any surface area, you coming in with some water and some agent in the water to help it sterilize, purify. And so that's what the teas will do, for us. So artichokes, endives, all of those green leafy vegetables, spinach, all of those are great options. And when it comes, it's not that you're not going to eat any fat. We do need to eat some fat, but let's look for the healthier fats in our flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, our avocados. Those can be great ways of getting healthy fats or nuts and seeds, but in small portions, really having that closed handful to support the fat necessities by the body, but at the same time, not overburdening the liver.
Thank you.
Okay, so someone is asking if they can add milk thistle drops to the water. I would not recommend, because milk thistle drops will be a milk thistle tincture. And that can be formulated either by the use of alcohol or glycerin. And either way, it's sugar. Yeah. And that sugar can be converted into fat. So in this state, I would say no, not let's not add that. Get the milk thistle capsules even, open them, drop the content into a hot cup of water, teacup, and get that drawn, and you can drink. That would even be helpful. Yeah. So great. Thank you for your questions. No more questions.
I have a
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
Dr. Nash,
Yes.
I was in the States and I saw you there. I've recently moved to Trinidad. I
Uh-huh.
stayed 33 minutes away from you. Where do you
Oh,
get the milk thistle? Because, or blackstrap molasses? Because I stay in Tunapuna.
mm-hmm.
So I have relocated back here because my dad passed away recently, and I
Oh,
relocated back home. But some of the things I can't find.
okay. Yeah, so you need to get to like a health food store. Going to Grand Bazaar can be a start at Nature's Discount.
Grand Bazaar.
Yes. So for you, just head across to Grand Bazaar on the highway and in that shopping center and look for Nature's Discount. You can just Google Nature's Discount and you would see the phone number 610 something and they're to the back food court section of Grand Bazaar, and they have a good range. They usually have the blackstrap molasses once it's in stock because they would always get a supply and just have to check in with them when they they have, but that's where I would get mine from. And there they have a good range of supplements.
Praise the Lord. Thank you.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi, good evening, Dr. Nash. I would just like to ask what tests can be used to test for the liver disease or dysfunction of the liver?
Yeah, so you have LFT, liver function test, that will cover a range of factors looking at the function and the workings of the liver itself and give you some results. Other than that, you have the liver panel, um, where it's looking at the ALT, AST, so sometimes you call it liver panel, but you have the liver function test, which will pull really all that you need to look at. So once you see any abnormalities or elevated levels in there, take note, see what's going on with the body, whether you're having any of the signs and symptoms for liver dysfunction. If you are, then maybe that's why you were asked to do a liver function test. And then you would see certain numbers in there that might just be confirming something is active, something is going on. Once there's any need for suspicion or you over time, 3 months has passed, it's still elevated numbers that you're seeing, then they would send you for an ultrasound. Then you have the MRI, the CT scan as progressive level of testing based on what your findings are. And ultimately the biopsy.
Okay, I don't have I have never done a test for it, but I have a friend that does have fatty liver, and she had asked me what to use, and I remember that dandelion is good. So I told her she could use the dandelion to make tea and drink, but otherwise I didn't know what else to tell her. I just know about the dandelion that is good. So
Right. So you
that's why I was
definitely bring the milk thistle in. Milk
milk
thistle
thistle
is, yeah. Put
with the
the milk
dandelion.
thistle with the dandelion, yes.
Okay.
So the milk thistle helps. It's a liver tonic. It helps to restore the liver. It helps to rebuild the liver. Even someone with early stage of the cirrhosis of the liver, I will bring milk thistle in there because it helps to break up that hardness. It supports it. So
Okay.
not in the advanced stage really, but so the milk thistle is like the go-to for the liver. The dandelion is helpful. The dandelion more supports the production of the bile and to activate the gallbladder so that it's not sluggish and to, flush. But the milk thistle, you have the turmeric
Okay.
that will also go in there. So the milk thistle, dandelion, turmeric, key items. If you're doing the liver, let's work on the blood. So red clover could be an additional item to add, and get a little bit more tight, red clover, and and burdock. Yeah,
Red clover and burdock.
and burdock, yeah. So if
Okay.
the thing is that we have to drink this every day,
Mhm.
for about anywhere like 3 to 6 months. And so
Okay.
3 months later, you can go and take a check, which your doctor will advise because they want to give the body a chance, see how whatever you're doing interventions is helping. So 3 months down the road, you take a check, keep going until you get the resolution because this is going to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
But
you so much.
again, it must be combined with a changed diet. Yeah, let's not be adding the animal foods and their byproducts to that diet because we're just going to be riding a hamster bike. Going nowhere. You know, those stationary bicycles and you're going nowhere.
Yes.
So
Going nowhere.
we gotta clean up that diet as we saw total whole foods. I mean, we heard that the National Liver Foundation, American Liver Foundation, all those folks talking about the whole food plant-based diet as the diet of choice to help with this situation. So we can't use anything with high fat, high sugars, flour, all of those things will convert into fats.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And exercise so we burn it all off.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Nash.
You're
I
welcome.
will talk to her because she was worried when the
Yeah,
doctor told
and
her that.
share this video with her. The session has been recorded. It will be posted on the YouTube channel, and
Okay.
which is under my name, Dr. Natalie Nash,
Okay.
377 YouTube. And so individuals could understand, like we saw the little video where the lady said she did not know that it could progress into more
Mm-hmm.
serious. So they would, when they see for themselves, folks will understand the seriousness of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Rose of Sharon, I see your hand raised. Do you have a question? Rosa.
Good night, Dr. Nash. Beautiful
Hello.
presentation as usual. I just want to find out about the charcoal. How often what's the best time, morning or nights? And for how long?
Okay. So when we're using charcoal, you want to use it away from food. So at least 2 hours away from ingesting anything. So early morning, some folks might like to use charcoal or in the nighttime. Understand that charcoal can constipate so that we would need to drink liquid further. So if you were to take 1 teaspoon into 1 glass, 6 ounces, 8 ounces, mix that around, drink it. Always use a plastic or wooden spoon, a not a metal spoon when we're mixing our charcoal or dipping into the container. And so early morning or late at night can be those option times away from food intake. And for how long do we use it? Um, some people, again, it's whereas it can help with clearing toxins and so forth. We're talking about liver, fatty liver, so it's not really one of the key items. It could support, but it's not the key item to help with clearing the situation. So doing the milk thistle is a more direct response to the health situation itself. Now some people can use it. We don't want to overdo, and then when the body has a need for its use. So if you did it for about a week, 2 weeks, but again, let's not stay on the charcoal forever so long. If you use like a light charcoal in the water, less than a teaspoon, because there's some people where they would have to use it in their water to help with purifying and cleansing that water. They put a charcoal block in the water and it would just draw onto itself the toxins in the water. Then they can strain
Okay.
and drink. So in that way, they're using it on a more long-term basis, but it's in a small amount, as opposed to really taking it as a flush item. And you gotta drink lots more water behind it. You gotta watch to make sure it's not constipating you. Or then you can simply take a laxative because it might be a time when you're cleansing. You can take a laxative to help purge that out. But ideally, if a longer term, it needs to be a less dose of the charcoal powder in there, like about a quarter teaspoon to like a gallon or so. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Great lecture, Dr. Nash.
Thank you, Sister Princess. And I actually enjoyed, gathering the information and to bring this topic to you, because it's not one that you would commonly hear about. And amazingly, there's so much to be said about it out there.
Right. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this very, very much because I learned a lot tonight that I didn't know about the liver.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I did too, Dr. Nash. It was very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sister James, and thank you for the feedback. All right. Well, it's the topic that the Lord has sent for us today because every week He provides the topic. So with that, let us have a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we want to give you thanks for our bodies,
You may park.
the remarkable way in which we are made and that we can heal. We thank you for the natural remedies that you provided. And as we seek to apply the information to our lives and make the changes necessary for prevention, as well as for remedy, we ask for your blessing and mercies to be extended for healing. Be with us now as we separate. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Hi,
Right.
Dr. Nash.
Good night.
Hello, Sister Mash.
How are you?
I'm very well. Good to hear you.
Good. Yes.